It feels like the very first time. Hello. I know it's been a while here. Um, and I will explain all of that. As you can tell, I'm not in my set. I am not anywhere around there. That's actually a lie. But point is, a lot has changed over the past few months, thus the lack of episodes coming out. And I do apologize for that. I touched on it a little bit in my last episode with Will, talking about the Reese Hoskins signing, and it was something that I want to go a little more in depth in. Uh, I'm all about transparency. I'm all about updating everybody in terms of what's going on with me, and why the episodes have not really been to the standard that I would like them to be. I'm trying out a different format here. I'm going through kind of a figuring stuff out again phase of this entire thing that I've been doing for the past 2 years at this point, which is kind of crazy. I shout out to Jeffrey D. Morgan. Um, so I moved. I no longer live at home. I moved and I forgot my mic stand, which is why I'm holding this. And I've been looking into getting a new microphone anyway. So for the time being, it's just going to be kind of how it was in those episodes during the Phillies postseason run. It's going to be stuff like that. So I'm hoping the audio sounds good. I know in the last one I had some technical difficulties, but I pretty sure I fixed all that stuff. So in God, I pray to you in this blessed Easter day that everything is okay and we will be moving along like nothing ever happened and everything's fine. First things first, I just want to wish everybody a happy and blessed Easter. I hope you guys enjoyed everything with your family, enjoyed the good special day. Hope you had some good food. Watched the Phils win their first game of the year, which was nice, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Now to kind of go more in a serious direction. I know on this I kind of I don't really talk about a lot of personal stuff, for good reason, because I don't want that to be that I want to leave that out of this. I want to leave I want this to be separate from that, but ultimately I think you guys deserve an update. So basically, I moved out of my house. I no longer live at home. I now live closer to my job, and we were in the process of moving over the past, however many weeks. We made the big move over this past weekend. So me watching the Phils, I watched as much as I possibly could, within reason. But as you can tell, I got my bed. I got the boys set up back here. Shout out to Ashlyn. She picked out those sheets for me. I said, just get some you think I would like, and she came back with these. So shout out to that trash bag I have yet to put out yet. And shout out to the bag of yogis from Costco. Always forget. Shout out to the bag of yogis from Costco that I take to work every single day. Shout out to that bag too. Um, so yeah, I moved out, and it's been, I won't go fully into depth why, but it was a decision that I needed to make for me, for my mental health, for just for the betterment of me. It was a decision that kind of came easy ultimately. Um, and here we are. I'm all set up in the new place and everything like that. So um, thank God for that. And I'm very blessed to be where I am now. I've been going through a lot of changes in terms of self growth. I've been very much more into dealing with mental health in the sense of, you know, being better for myself, prioritizing my needs over others, and not in a selfish way. Because I'm a people pleaser. I want to make sure everybody's okay before I worry about myself, and I found that being very unhealthy for me. So I've been getting into doing things for me and enjoying my life and enjoying things that I enjoy, and excuse me, doing things I enjoy. Um, And that's kind of what I've been going through. And also, you know, doing the best job I can with communicating with you guys through, you know, Instagram and TikTok, and making content and making those videos. You know, although this channel has been kind of docile for the past, you know, pretty much the whole off season, which I'm mad at myself for, but it also was, there was a lot going on. So I just had to prioritize me, and I know you guys understand, and I did my best with making content for Instagram, for TikTok, and for everything like that. So that's where I've been. Um, you know, the episodes are going to be much more consistent now that I kind of have figured everything out. I have, you know, like I said, figured everything out. I'm in a much better place, both figuratively and literally in a better place. And it's going to be kind of business as usual. I'm going to be putting stuff in the background as the weeks and weeks go on, as the season progresses. But for right now, this is what we're dealing with. I kind of feel it feels a little more authentic to me, kind of almost going back to my roots, I want to say, of when I first started doing this, and I would be like secretly recording it in my bedroom because I didn't want anybody to hear me. But now it's kind of kind of a full circle moment almost of doing it this way. So I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to talk about this Phil's team. I'm excited to go over everything that I missed. I have some big updates uh in the Phillies and personal side of stuff. We'll get to the Phillies side of stuff, but I do have a much big update. Excuse my phone. Let me make sure. I just want to make sure that, you know, again, full transparency on practically everything I do. I don't like having secrets, but you know, there's some stuff that's been going on that's left unsaid. But point is, I'm better now. Everything's going to be back to the way it used to be, and it's just a different background. So, same old me. But like I said, different background. I'm doing a kind of like a 1/3. Maybe I'll come over here. Here, let's do that. Come over here, kind of relax, do whatever I want, kind of deal. Hurts my arm. That I went through like a brief moment of doing that, or brief like few episodes of doing this all the time. My arm hurt because my mic stand was broken. So that's kind of why I want to get a new microphone, so I can just kind of either have it here, like on my sitting on my desk, or I can kind of clamp it to the desk and kind of have it here, or like do something where it's kind of over, kind of like a directional, because I'm 99% sure this is a directional mic. But enough about the microphone. Opening day, we're back. But before that, I have a massive update. So, flashback a few weeks. I am on a cruise with my lovely, lovely girlfriend, Ashlyn, who I love so much. And we are, it was day 2 of the cruise. Now, I'm going to put this, I'm going to show you guys this photo because I don't feel like editing it in. I took a photo in the morning because it was great vibes. It was March 11th at 10:13 a.m. I took this photo, and if it focuses, which I don't think it's, oh yeah, there we go. If you guys can't see, the shirt reads, "I want to get drunk with Garrett Stubbs." Ashlyn's mom made that for me. I've had that shirt for a little while, but I was rocking it on the cruise. Posted on my .NET Philly story, as I'm sure you get, all you fine, lovely people saw. And that was that. I tagged Garrett Stubbs. I'm like, why not? We'll see where it goes. So, so after that, Ashlyn and I were going to. She was a part of like this Facebook group for our cruise, and they were having like a little meet and greet kind of thing, and you know, like a cute little thing. So we decided to go, and right before I walk in there, I get on my watch a notification, and I'm just checking it out, and Garrett Stubbs responds to my story saying, "This is what peak male performance looks like." And when I tell you, I literally started shaking and being like, "Oh my God." Like I didn't know what to do. Like it was like an out of body experience. It was the highlight of my vacation, and I know that is both sad and the truth, and just shows how sick I am in my Phillies fandom. That was the highlight of a Bahama cruise, was a baseball player responding to me, but it was, but it was. Um, and then I threw out the podcast, and he liked the message, so it is not impossible for Garrett Stubbs to come on here. And now I'm going to make my official request. Garrett, Mr. Stubbs, we'll leave the first name. Mr. Stubbs, you saw my shirt when I was on vacation, and you enjoyed it and liked it. I would like to formally invite you on the .NET Phillies podcast. Whenever you have a moment, an off day, we'll figure something out. I'd be more than happy to abide by your schedule. Whatever means necessary. I have also told my job I am willing to work with your schedule. So whatever means necessary, I would love to have you on. And I think we'd be really good friends. Another thing is that photo of you with the overalls and the Budweiser hat on. Ashlyn has agreed to make that our Halloween costume, where I'm you and she is the Budweiser box. We'll make it work. So Garrett, if you would like to come on, there's your invite, except it's always open for you, brother. So there we go. Yeah, that was insane. I was very like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. So that was crazy. And then, that cruise was awesome. It was such a beautiful time. Very blessed to have had that time. Just the two of us, me and Ashlyn, not me and Garrett Stubbs. But it was awesome. Some other updates we had this morning. We had Luis Ortiz suffered an injury in yesterday's ball game, kind of jumping off the mound. He looked like I forget if it said it was an ankle or oblique. I think Sean Murphy was an oblique, so I think it was an ankle injury. Point is, Nick Nelson was recalled from AAA, so Ortiz to the IL. We now have Nick Nelson on the roster. So let's get into it. Opening day 2024. Now, I don't think the Phillies realize that they can start hot. They are allowed to start hot, which I didn't realize. But yeah, so Game 1, opening day was Thursday, got rained out, moved to Friday. Friday was a beautiful day, a little windy. I was only able to watch the first couple innings because I mentioned I was moving. I had to go to, ironically, South Philadelphia, literally like 5 minutes away from the stadium, but I had to do business instead of moving. So, opening day, here are my main takeaways from opening day. Bryce Harper is going to win a Gold Glove this year. Promise you that one. We had a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel on opening day, and that's what you want to see as a baseball fan. I know this is going to sound extremely ignorant and gatekeepy, but the normal baseball fan doesn't appreciate a good pitcher's duel. They find it boring. And I know that sounds gatekeepy and annoying, but it's the truth. I love a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. I always think of the Nationals-Phillies game back in 2018 when it was Aaron Nola against Max Scherzer, and it was kind of a duel for the Cy Young at that point. It was a little later in the season. Phillies were kind of still involved, and same with the Nationals, and they had a lot of playoff implications behind it, and I love that game. That game was fantastic, and it reminded me a lot of this. Was the first pitcher to make a mistake was going to lose the game. Unfortunately, that's not what happened because the Phillies bullpen said, hold my beer. But coming back to that, you had Strider, you had Wheeler, and I hate the fact that Spencer Strider is a good dude. It bothers me because it just bugs me that because he had a post-game interview and he spoke very highly of Philadelphia and the Phillies fans, and he loves the rivalry and it fuels him, and it really angered me because I'm like, I want you to be mean, but damn you for being a good dude. So shout out to Spencer Strider. I hate you, but I respect you. I respect you, Spencer. I respect you. You had Marshy having a 2-run home run in the 5th to make it 2-0, first home run of the year. I predicted it was going to be a Schwarbaum. It, of course, is the least person you would suspect, and that is Brandon Marsh. And then that's kind of when I kind of tuned out, not because of I didn't want to listen, but because I was moving out of South Philadelphia. Excuse me, I was assisting somebody moving out of South Philadelphia. I turned off the game for 5 minutes and I looked up and it was like 7-2. But from what I've gathered and reading online and on Twitter is that Rob Thompson left Matt Strawman to face Adam Duvall, and he immediately tied the game with a double, and then it was kind of all downhill from there. You had Alvarado imploding for 5 earned runs, which is extremely uncharacteristic of him. You look at what Wheeler did: 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. That is exactly what you're going to be paying Zach Wheeler $40 million a year for with that contract extension. And that's exactly what you expect from your ace. You look him in the eyes and say, go out against the best team in baseball. Yeah, I said it. The Atlanta Braves are the best team in baseball. You go out there and shove against them on opening day at full strength, and you do 6 shutout innings against that offense, because we saw what that offense can do in 3 innings. They put up 9 runs against the Phillies bullpen, 9 runs in 3 innings. That is insane for that offense. And like I keep saying, that Braves cheating scandal is going to hit like crack, but we won't go there. You had Strahm, who struggled a little bit, which is ironic because I said that Matt Strahm was going to be like the most important player in this Phillies bullpen. And then again, it's game 1. I'm not going to read too much into it. Guys are still, getting underway. I'm not too concerned about a blow up in opening day. I'm not. You had Strahm, who also extended. They're keeping all the boys together. You had Strahm, a third of an inning, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. It was just bad, and I think Topper kind of left him to fail because Snitker brought in Adam Duvall to pinch hit, I believe, for Jared Kelnick. And, it should have been Hoffman in that spot. But Strahm is a good splits guy. It doesn't really matter if you're righty or lefty, like he's going to get you out. And I think Topper kind of looked into that and said, we could get away with Strami here. And unfortunately, he came to bite him. Hoffman then came in, shut the door, and then Alvarado, 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, just very uncharacteristic of him. And again, I'm not worried about Jose Alvarado and Matt Strahm not being good. It is 1 outing. It's going to happen. I'm glad it's happening now and not when the games actually matter. But Jared, the games all matter. I understand that. It's game 1. Settle down. We'll be fine. You then had Brogdon, who is an enigma to me. A third of an inning, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, a strikeout. I don't understand Connor Brogdon because at points in the 2022 season, he looked like one of the most dominant relievers in the game, and it looked like a guy that was going to transcend those charts of national media as being like one of the most underrated relievers in the game. And the last year plus has been extremely disappointing for Connor Brogdon. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if he needs a change of scenery. I'm not sure what his what it is with him. And it stinks because if he can return back to that 2021, 2022 Connor Brogdon that we saw and know that pitcher's in there, this bullpen would be dominant. And I know what everybody's going to say, but it was ranked as the top bullpen in baseball. But we can be even better with Connor Brogdon going out there and being the Connor Brogdon that we know he can be. And that's the frustrating part, is because we know the type of pitcher he is, and he's just not. It's not there. It's not there. It's not there. It's so infuriating because we know the type of talent that he has. And then in the 9th inning, we had Junior Marte, who has looked incredible in spring training, and I'm good to see so far that the results are translating. An inning, a hit, no earned runs, no walks, and a strikeout to the 9th. So yeah, it was just a frustrating opening day. on top of the Phillies sucking on opening day, so my brother and I went down to South Philly to get my his mother-in-law, which I guess is technically my mother-in-law as well, but regardless, my brother's mother-in-law, we had to get her in a U-Haul. My dad brought down his big car as well. So we pack everything up, 45 minutes in and out. We're like, damn, we're going to make great time. We're going to be able to go home, like watch the rest of the game. It's going to be great. I don't care if the Phillies are losing. It's Phillies regular season baseball. I don't care. I'm going to watch it and soak it all in for what it's worth. And then his car dies. My dad's. Of course. So then we had to call AAA and wait an hour and a half. And Philadelphia traffic in and of itself is a nightmare at opening day, at a Friday. Insanity. But that's opening day. Then we get to yesterday. Okay. I was getting my notes together. This game annoyed me. So the Phillies lose 12-4. My player of shame is the new contract, Aaron Nola. I forgot how infuriating Aaron Nola is in the regular season, but just dials it in for the postseason. It's like, Aaron, you know what, Aaron? You can pitch like that the whole time, like you do in the postseason, dude. I'm not reading too much into Aaron Nola. You're going against the best lineup in baseball. I'm not reading too much stock into Aaron Nola's sucking wiener in this game. And he was kind of a death by paper cuts thing. It was a lot of bloop hits, fluky hits. I'm not saying that as an excuse, but I'm just saying it. He wasn't getting barreled up, which is good because eventually that luck will turn the other way. So you had Albies not lead off, but in the first inning, 2-run home run. And I'm like, and it was even a good changeup. It was a very good changeup from Aaron Nola. And me watching this game was, I was sitting in my room here, and on this back wall here, I have a TV mount, and Ashlyn was mounting that TV because she's the man in the relationship and I'm a wussy. And I was like, well, there was no lies detected there, but it's not like I was I didn't mean to curse. It's not like I was sitting on the bed doing nothing. I was setting my computer up and I had the Phillies on my monitor here. And I was just watching, being like, Aaron Nola stinks. It was sad. But however, Stott, gave the Phils a brief lead, came up clutch. And then d'Arnaud comes in. And JT had a solo home run with Kelsey and Cox in the bullpen in the broadcasting booth, which was pretty cool to see them on there. And my main takeaway from this game was just avoid the sweep. It's early. Like that's why these beginning episodes, and I say episodes plural, I've done, this will be my second full year, my third year entirely. This is, last year, again, I'm not reading too much into this team yet. This team is still getting their identity for 2024. I'm not getting mad. I'm not getting upset over results in April. Get me to like June, July. That's when, the funny content comes out because you got to play up your emotions to make comedy and make content. That's when the fake reactions will be coming. But for right now, you're getting me. You're getting Jared as is. But in terms of pitching, you had Aaron Nola, 4 1/3, 12 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So the strikeout numbers were certainly down. And it's odd because he looked very sharp in spring training. And his first start in the regular season, obviously he was not good at all. It's tough to say. I'm not particularly reading too much into it. Now, if Aaron Nola comes out again and does this, then I'm going to be like, what's going on, bud? We just paid you a lot of money. What's going on? And it's on my mind. I'll get back to the pitching, but it's on my mind now. Can we just give a round of applause to Rhys Hoskins for owning the Mets not in a Phillies uniform? So if you guys didn't see, Rhys Hoskins now a Milwaukee Brewer. The best tweet I saw that kind of captures the entire drama, so to speak, was you can take the man out of Philly, but not the Philly out the man. And I think that works perfectly here with when it pertains to Rhys Hoskins. So it is opening day for the New York Mets and Milwaukee Brewers, kind of a similar situation to the Phillies Braves. It was supposed to be Thursday, got delayed to Friday. So Rhys Hoskins, like I mentioned, now Milwaukee Brewer. I forget who hits the ball for a double play, but slides in the second base late, according to crybaby Jeff McNeil, and starts a fight with Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins then hits him with the wah, crybaby, after McNeil was complaining and chirping at him the whole time. So tip your cap to Mr. Rhys Hoskins. That's that. Or is it? So, being the most classy organization and fans in baseball and the most rational thinking, Mets fans took to Twitter, and a lot of them were like, if I'm the Mets, I'm drilling Rhys Hoskins in the first at bat. I would go for his head. You got to drill Rhys Hoskins. You got to send a message. You got to do it. And just the most classy tip of the cap fans in sports, those New York fans. So then Rhys Hoskins then hits an absolute moonshot, does this to the bullpen, which I was hoping that was only a Philly thing, but Rhys, it's your thing, so by all means, it is yours. And then does a celebration with one of his teammates, and excuse me for forgetting which one, but hits him, hits boom, boom, and then goes wah, like so good and petty, and I love it. And I love Rhys Hoskins so much. But then you get to, I believe it was the 7th or 8th inning. Rhys Hoskins already at this point was 3 for 3. He then gets thrown at, to which he said to the pitcher, some minor leaguer, I don't know, looks at him and goes, "You up." And Rhys Hoskins single-handedly owns the New York Mets franchise, because if you remember, was it 2019? You had Jacob Rame throwing at Rhys Hoskins, then he hit the slow trot. What are you doing? You can't take on Rhys Hoskins, New York. You can't do it. And that's why I freaking love Rhys Hoskins. And he's the man. I cannot wait to see him back in Philly with the Brewers. He's going to get a great standing ovation, especially, I mean, he was already going to get a huge ovation, but now add in him just absolutely dunking his nuts on the New York Mets, and it's going to be so much better. So shout out to Rhys Hoskins. That was on my mind because I was thinking about, we gave Aaron Nola money instead of Rhys Hoskins, but because that was the concept in my mind, but it was the complete opposite. But regardless, that's why I thought of it. I forgot to put it in my notes for this episode. But going back to game 2, you had Luis Ortiz go 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. He left the game with that injury and then put on the IL at the beginning of the day today. And Nick Nelson brought up, like I mentioned in the opening. You had then Sir Anthony, an inning, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So another poor inning for Sir Anthony. Then you had Junior Marte, again, carrying over that spring training success. 1 inning, no hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. So very, very strong out for him. You had Greg Soto, who I put on a short list of guys who I think are going to have a very, very good year. If he limits those blowups, someone said, I know it's such an arbitrary thing, but it's like, if you remove his bad outings, he was really good. And this kind of ranks true, where it's like he allowed like 4 earned runs like a handful of times last year. And if you take that away, he had like a 2.7 ERA. Like, he was good last year. It's just the blowups were bad. So if he's able to limit that, I think he's going to be a real weapon for this Phillies team. And I think they project him to be that as well. So that's going to be great. You then had Connor Brogdon, a hit, a run in an inning, and a walk. So ugly. This game was over before Nola even left that game. So Yeah. So now we get to today. So let me get another sip of my drink. Anyway, any Hoosers. The Phillies win today, 5-4 over the Atlanta Braves, avoiding the sweep. My player of the game was Kyle Schwarber. One thing Kyle Schwarber loves is setting the tone in ball games. And in the beginning of the game, you had Acuna reach on a walk, which he fought back. He was down at 0-2 and was able to work out the walk there. Followed by Albies taking him deep again for the second straight day. Homers. And then Kyle Schwarber against Chris Sale, who's one of the better pitchers in baseball, kind of has tailed off the past couple of years due to injury, and that's kind of always been a part of his game. But Chris Sale looked really good in spring training, so going against him, a lefty, especially like I mentioned, a difficult lefty like Chris Sale is, and you're able to square one up, and it was a laser to get your team right back in there because it was so easy. If they go down 1-2-3 in there, they're like, oh, here we go again. Here we go, getting in their own head, everything like that. And Kyle Schwarber's like, hey, no, we're in this. We're in this. We got this. We got this. We got this. 2-1. You then Adam Duvall extending the lead 3-1, and we're like, oh, here we go. Here we go. They're getting away. You then have bases loaded, nobody out. Kyle Schwarber grounds into a double play, but a run scores. And I need to make this statement. Before I do, you had Trey Turner tie the game, and then Alec Boehm is able to bloop one out. Duvall nearly made an incredible catch, but the ball went under his glove. 2-run score. And then Albies got into was able to get the Braves within one, but luckily Soto came in through one pitch to Matt Olson, was able to get out of the inning, and then Alvarado came in redemption 1-2-3 ninth inning, ring it. We game one under the belt. I want to come back to this point. I believe, and to tip my own cap, I've been saying Jeff Hoffman has been the best Phillies reliever since they got him and called him up. You can check my Instagram. I am not just saying that hyperbolically. I truly believe Jeff Hoffman is the best Phillies reliever right now on March 31st, 2024. That guy comes in and just pumps the strike zone, is able to get swings and misses in the biggest spot. His blood runs ice cold. And that's why I love Jeff Hoffman. The guy is not allergic to the moment. Nothing bothers him. I love him in the role he's in, but it's so tough because you want him later in the game, but he's so good at the role he's in as the fireman that it's so tough to remove him from there. My guess is once Orion Kerkering is healthy, once you get some of these guys a little healthier, that he's going to transition to that role, I think. But until then, he's good in the fireman role, and they can kind of piece it together from there. But God, I love Jeff Hoffman. He is a dog. He is really, really good at the game of baseball. And then so in terms of pitching, you had Rangers first outing of the year. I thought he was incredible. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He's just Ranger. Like, he's just so freaking good. Cool, calm, collected Ranger. You know what you're getting from him. JT kind of talked about him focusing more on location than he was just kind of getting to get out. He kind of according to JT and other reports, that he kind of differentiated or deferred away from location, and kind of turned back to that in 2024, which is huge. Then you had Hoffman going inning. Matt Strahm redeemed himself an inning, 2 strikeouts. Sir Anthony struggled again, 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So the strikeouts are there. He's just still getting kind of hit around a little bit. Hopefully they make that adjustment. But again, I'm not jumping to any conclusions. I'm not freaking out, losing my mind because he's having a bad first series. I'm not worried about it. Soto literally threw a single pitch in this game to Olson. And then, like I mentioned, Alvarado gets the 1-2-3 ninth. So Phillies are able to salvage it. It was a frustrating series, but one that I'm not particularly worried about. It is what it is. They're going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. And we'll go from there. Let me get a sip of this. God, ginger ale's so freaking good. Clears you out, gets the throat going. Pause. So I do have a couple new segments that I would like to unveil. Excuse me. That I would like to unveil. So when there is a Phillies series loss and a Phillies series win, this is when this segment comes in. So the segment is as followed. When the Phillies lose a series, I want to point out one person, could be a coach, could be a player, could be anybody, that we are calling the Josh Harrison Terrorist of the Series Award. And that goes to a special individual who we deemed lost the series for the Phillies. On the flip side, the Bryce Harper, thank God for saving my life award, goes to the player that won us the series. And I would like to give a special shout out to Matt Saporsky for these ideas. Matt, big fan, friend of the show. He blessed me with those ideas. He was in my war room coming up with ideas for new segments for this season, and that was one of them. This kind of, we've always said it for the past year, thus why it's called the Josh Harrison Terrace of the series. Because we despised Josh Harrison so much that we called him a terrorist because that's how much we hated him. As a player, let me clarify that. As a player, heard he's an incredibly nice human being, but as a player, he was brutal to watch. So the Josh Harrison Terrace of the Series award goes to Rob Thompson. Now, Rob Thompson, we love Topper. Everybody loves Topper. Philly Rob. However, please explain to me why Brandon Marsh sat 2 games in a row after being the only one to provide any offense at all in the first game. You then sit him against 2 lefties. I don't understand why we're still treating Brandon Marsh as a platoon player, why we're treating Bryson Stott as a platoon player. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I understand the way of thinking of, well, they're not good against lefties. Here's an idea. I know I'm going to sound crazy. Maybe give them more opportunities to bat against lefties so they get better against lefties. I know it's crazy, Rob. I know. And I love you, but come on. Can we stop doing the Martian Stott sitting against lefties thing? Can we just stop it, please? Marsh has proven he can hit against lefties. Stott has proven he hits against lefties. Let the boys play. And until they prove they can't, that's when you sit them. But you're not giving them the opportunity to prove that they can hit against lefties. And that's what I don't understand here. So please, Rob, I'm begging, I'm pleading. Garrett, if you come on, you can throw this in. Just tell Topper to just let the boys play. Let the boys freaking play. That's all I'm asking. So, and another thing, another poor decision, why he's getting the Josh Harrison Terrace of the Series Award is because you left Matt Strawman to face Adam Duvall when that should have been Jeff Hoffman in that spot. And I understand that Strami is good against lefties and righties, and I think I mentioned that previously, so he can get you out. Should have been Hoffman in that spot, but it's fine. So congratulations, Rob Thompson, on receiving the inaugural Josh Harrison Terrace of the Series Award here on the .NET Phillies podcast. Congratulations. I know this is a huge moment for you, Rob. Another new segment. I know, 2 new segments. Over the last year, we had Remember Him, which we would highlight different Phillies pitchers, one of which is on the current Phillies in AAA and David Buchanan. So how about that? We birthed that job. This cup is weird to hold. No. I'll have to get more after I'm done recording. But another new segment alert. Because what's a podcast without segments? Because I'm unoriginal. That's why I'm doing this in the first place, because I'm unoriginal. I need to use my journalism degree for something. So yeah. This segment is gonna be He Was a Phil. In that series, or in this series, I'm going to be looking at players who have somewhat solid, okay careers, maybe players that are successful now that you look back and go, oh, he was a Phil. Could be players that were briefly on the Phillies, were on the Phillies for a little while. Players that I just kind of don't want people to forget that was a Phil. This idea kind of spawns from work, and the person that I am going to be speaking about was the subject of that spawned this idea. Remember Jose Bautista on the Phillies? Think night long and hard. That's what she said. Because I do in 2018. Jose Bautista, best known for the bat flip against the Rangers in the ALDS. You had the fight with Rougned Odor. You had what else is he known for? For randomly out of nowhere hitting like 54 home runs that one year in 2010, I think. 2011, I think it was 2010, where he just out of nowhere had 54 home runs. It was like, look, because I had to look at his baseball reference page to get the stats that he, with the Phillies. And I was like, it was like 13, 13, 13, 14 home runs, and then 54 out of like nowhere. So Jose Bautista, Phil, was a Phil. So he actually didn't play that bad with the Phillies. In 27 games, had a 244 average, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and it had an 870 OPS. So really wasn't atrocious. He was traded from the Phillies from the Mets to the Phillies in the Phillies' attempts to gather all the Infinity Stones of washed up people who used to be good. That was the team that had Asdrubal Cabrera, had Wilson Ramos, had Jose Bautista, had Justin Bour. Or was that 2019? No, that was 2018. It was Justin Bour. Logan Morrison was 2019. Yeah, Justin Bour, 2018. So just the infinity gauntlet of washed up guys trying to make a push with these young bucks. The Nick Williams, the Aaron Altairs, the J.P. Crawfords of the world. They were trying to make that push. And he wasn't terrible. He was not terrible. In 2018, he played for the Braves for 12 games, the Mets for 83, the Phillies, like I said, 27. Looking after his playing career, he looked to become a two-way player in 2020. He hosted a bullpen session with him and then teammate Marcus Stroman. And then in March of 2023, so a year ago, he signed a one-day contract with the Toronto Blue Jays to retire officially. So he is now retired, but how can you ever forget the Jose Bautista era with the Philadelphia Phillies? And now to close out the show, I'm going to be going over the series against Cincinnati. So we have some decent pitching matchups going into this one. We have the season debut of Christopher Sanchez. Chris Sanchez is looking to build off of the incredible year that he had last year for the Phillies. And it's going to be a good testament. I mean, the Cincinnati Reds have a very good lineup. Jonathan India. No, he's hurt. You have dudes on that team who can swing the bat. I'm sure I'm missing 7 more specific. My apologies, my brain's a little messed up. So, yeah, you have Chris Sanchez, you have Donish against Andrew Abbott. You then have the Phillies debut of Spencer Turnbull. He's going up against Graham Ashcraft. So it's going to be another tough matchup. And then the final game, you have Zach Wheeler against Frankie Montas. Montas pitched very well on opening day for Cincinnati. So, and we know exactly what he did. So it's going to be a good matchup for those two. So that's going to do it for me in this episode. I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me, for being patient, for understanding what's been going on with me. And did this turn off? Wait, did this?
I'm actually going to lose it.
Did this mic turn off? This microphone definitely turned off.
Okay, well, there goes the ending for that. I got to figure out why this microphone doesn't work anymore. But thank you so much for sticking with me. I don't know how much of the ending was cut out. We're gonna find out. And I'll put a little audio cutout until this moment. So thank you all for sticking with me, and I will see you guys Wednesday.